Hi to all. I speak to you today with profound concern about the findings of the latest Civicus Monitor report, People, Power Under Attack. This report is not a mere set of statistics, it's an urgent alarm call for the future of democracy and human rights worldwide. The data is undeniable. The restriction of civic space is escalating. It's distressing to think about the 73% of the world's population that live under restricted conditions, or the 31% that lives in countries where civic space is completely closed. The rights of freedom of peaceful assembly and of association are bearing the brunt of this trend. Of all incidents recorded, around 1,700 violations are directly related to these rights, accounting for 55% of all documented incidents. In a single year, the documented incidents sharply climbed from 2,450 to over 3,100. People are losing their fundamental rights to voice dissent, to protest, and to organize. Once again, the leading violation is the detention of protesters, recorded in over 200 protests in at least 82 countries. This is closely followed by protest disruption and the widespread use of excessive force against protesters. The disproportionate erosion of freedoms is staggering. The reports registered only 3 upgrades in country ratings, starkly opposed by 15 downgrades. This dramatical imbalance is alarming, especially considering that last year recorded 9 upgrades versus 9 downgrades. This civic space deterioration has reached even long-established democracies. The cases of the US, France, Germany, and Switzerland, alongside with Argentina, are deeply worrisome. The specific mention of worsening civic space across the European Union is also a profound signal of deterioration of places once considered champions of rights and freedoms. This is a failure not just for the affected countries, but for global human rights standards. The rise of restrictions is not a coincidence. This is a coordinated global infection. The tactics used to shock civic space are being sold, taught, and replicated by authoritarian regimes and alarmingly adopted by established democracies. Once again, mass mobilizations worldwide, frequently led by young people, were expressing grievances over corruption, the high cost of living, poor basic services, and overall governance failures. Gen Z-led protests demonstrate immense civic power. Yet the response has been brutal, resulting in hundreds of protesters killed. But we must transform these statistics into a charge against intergenerational political failure. I will be doing a report on youth and Gen Z protests, movement, and organizations. I hope I can count on you all, your experience and expertise in this endeavor. Equally worrisome is the weaponization of the law. The introduction of proposals of restrictive laws such as foreign agent and vague transparency or accountability acts in at least 60 countries follows also a clear pattern. These instruments are often ill-intended or poorly designed, leading to a destructive impact on the civil society sector and on the core rights on freedom of association and assembly. We must stop treating every repressing law as an isolated internal matter. We need a global legal immune response to the imitation and exports of these ill-designed legislative templates. Now, who is going to fight for rights and freedoms in the midst of these worrisome trends if civil society is heavily defunded? If we see the brightest spots from this year, we see the actions of parliaments, some governments, high courts, and even a bank. But these actors do not move in isolation. All these brightest spots come from the pressure of the civil society and movements and protests. And this need also to be acknowledged, especially in a moment in which these fundamental actors of change are vilified and persecuted. I end by saying that once again, I congratulate and celebrate this report and all the individuals and organizations involved. I saw the board of the Monitor years ago, and I'm very pleased to see how it had become a beacon for the knowledge creation about civic space. Well done.